So it's Monday, the 18th. Let's take a look at what's happened this morning and what's happening right now, and where we think this is going. So we're pretty much right out of the gate. We were long. We shorted it up in here. As you can see, the ashes were going side. Well, they were beginning to turn south, but you've got a real good indication when the market starts going sideways like this. You don't want to use reverse divergence. Don't use reverse divergence. Use regular divergence in here. Now, again, this particular workspace is designed for reverse divergence. I will show you the regular divergence trades in just a minute. So you'll notice that there's huge divergence right here, but you don't know whether that's going to stop going up. You can't really be sure. But once you're getting into lower highs in here, then you want to be taking a short, especially right there, because your fastest ashy is now turned. And then getting back in right here, that's very safe. And we don't get much sideways divergence in here. So unfortunately, now you have to wait and get in. Now you don't want to go short until we start going sideways again, which is what's happening right now. Very difficult to take a short trade there. Very difficult to see that, but we'll show you what the screen say. Now, is this going to continue to come down, or are we going back up? Well, right now we're short, as you can easily see. So where might this bounce and start going long? To know that, there's a couple of tools that we might choose to use, one of which is the Fibonacci retracements. So let's see if we can pull up that screen. We got it right here. Let's put this out of the way. All right, so what we did is we ran a Fibonacci retracement from the low this morning at 2250 up to the high. And you can see that we've dropped into the 38.2 right now. 50 is at 31. 61.8 is at 29 and change. So certainly if we go down to the 61.8, that might be a really fine place to get back into a long trade here. Looking at the market profile can also give us some idea of where this might be headed. So let's change over to that screen. Okay. So let's expand this. I hope we've got the right screen up. All right, so here we are right now. And the market moved all the way up here, but the heat zone continues. And this little low, or pardon me, this high corresponds to this little low in here. And that doesn't really say much I think we've got more room to go. So as we pull back here, there's a few things we want to take a look at. Now, again here, this particular profile, this is a 30-day profile. So the POC is way down here. And we're not likely going to be going down that low. So let's take a different look. Now this is a profile here is based on what's active on the screen. Okay. This is what's based on the activity of the screen. So it goes back several hours. And our POC, as you can see, is right in here. So very likely, yeah, we're gonna drop that low. But you see, the low volume node is down there, 2875. And that's below the 61.8% retracement. So on that basis, I would have to think that we're going to drop further. We'll see how it reacts after it goes through the POC. It might, as you see these areas, the heat zone areas, we spent quite a while at 5230, not very much at these lower levels. So good reason to suspect we're going to drop into that low volume node. Now what happens after that remains to be seen. But let's just give this a couple of minutes. We'll come back, take a look, see if it makes it all the way. Oh, I'm pretty confident that it will. But let's just let's give it a moment. We'll come back. Now we have a opportunity to short this particular move. It's right now at about 35. Now we just got a signal on our reverse divergence indicator right up there at 35.25. Now, as I see it, that's a little bit of a low volume right in here. Let's expand this. Okay. A little low volume in here. But the heat zone is a little higher. And a little higher still. So we have a signal there. And as I look at I'm looking at the RSX, and the RSX was way up there. So this could easily go a bit higher. But that's where we got the signal. And I'll see if I can quickly just share that. So there's that signal at 35-ish. And see how high the RSX is. There's no divergence there. So that's what I was thinking, that liable to go up a little higher. Let's go back to our profile. Okay, and coming back down. Oh, well, that makes sense. Yeah, that's okay, because the RSX went up and tagged that high, and it was then dropping, so now we're okay. But still, I mean, that doesn't say we can't go up. Because the ASHEs are now beginning to turn. So let's see how low she goes. Okay. The RSX is turning again. And that's at a 5-second chart. We'll come back. Okay. We just exceeded the POC. Drop on the premium, going lower. Again, the low volume node is down at 28.75, which is just below the 61.8% retracement. Now, knowing these levels are important because if you look here, let's go back, make sure we're on the right screen. Now, when you look here at the TSC, got real nice divergence in here, which normally I would say, oh, good time to possibly go long, but keeping in mind where you are on your ASHI candles. No, I don't think so. No. And furthermore, if you look at the premium over here, premium is diving. Yeah, that CCX is on the premium. All right, so yeah, it might run up a bit, but this is coming back down in any event. Okay, we just touched the 61.8% retracement. Divergent here on the premium. And divergence here as well. But just looking at the ASHIs, I don't think so. Yeah, we're too high. No, this is going to continue to come down. And what I meant by that is that the ASHIs are too high. They're too high above the highs. They got to slope down and come back under. So here we go. All right, we're into the low volume node right now. No big divergence developing here just yet. So if we get divergence, if we get a big divergence down here, see, this is really risky to go long in here. But that's where sometimes the big money is made. So let's go back to the profile. I hope the profile is showing up. I'm experimenting with the as you see how far down we came. So we filled into this low volume node, but we've got another high volume node down here. So yeah, this might mess around here for a while, then drop, then pop. So risky long trade in here. And we've got some. We got a nice signal here at the low, 27.75, but I don't trust it. So the high volume node is at 26.50. I hope you can see that. And then the heat zone goes down just a little bit more to 25.75 before it begins to bounce back up. So let's go back to the other screen. Now there's our divergent signal. Let's go to our typical. Yeah, this is 100 tick. We got it there. We got it there. So yeah, that can work. But now take a look at where we are in respect to the VWAP. And on a 1250, we just hit the low of the TSE for the first time. Nah, this is going to continue to go lower. Let's see if the premium gave us any kind of a heads up here. Let's go back to the screen. No, I don't think so. Nope. Nothing clear. Nothing clear. Okay, now take a look at this. We're just going to watch this for a while. The signal came in here, but you got all of this evidence suggesting that's not going to work. And now the fastest ASHI is just beginning to turn. We're at the maximum read here on the RSX. Keep in mind 5-second chart. And pardon me, we could go a little higher. But the best time to get into a long, the safe time, is after this turns. Let it come back down, it will. And then consider getting in. But our signal was right there. And the 5-second chart, this pattern right here, that's not very convincing to me, because this is a lower low. When it turned, it was at a lower low. Now, if this point looked like this, that would be a different story. But it doesn't. Let's take a look at the others. All right, so over here, okay, look this up. This is a 100 tick. It's not very reliable. But that pattern right here, okay, this low, yeah, that's what you want to see, but on a slower chart. The 500, the RSX, okay, here's your TSC, 500, really not much divergence there, but you've got it on the RSX. And the CCX. CCX, again, not so much. See, low, higher low, lower low. Can work. It's not the best pattern though. And now the CFB is running out of steam. So we're going to begin to see this drop now. On the 1250. There's really no divergence in here. Okay. CCX is, ooh, you know, it's just not divergent. And so you see what's happening. Okay, so now we'll come back. Again, what we want to see happening on the ashes, let this thing come down further. Something else to keep in mind. This big move up and then the retracement back down. So as this begins to retrace back up, wherein the ES is now at roughly an equal high, this is going to be at a lower high, meaning it's going to be divergent. You're going to be able to anticipate that so that you don't get caught thinking this is going long. And it isn't. And you can know that just because of how high this was. This little move up is not likely going to succeed. I mean, as you're following the stochastic here and it's hitting its max, pretty good idea. You're gonna get slammed if you go long here. All right, let's give it some time. We'll come back and take another look. Okay, so now you see the point. That wasn't the low. And now we just went down right to that other higher volume node that we talked about. Let me show you where it is. And now getting into a long trade, that makes more sense. This is still a little bit too low. I think we've got a little ways to go now. And the Irashis have turned. So let's just take a look at that node. Okay. Okay, so right there, that's where we're at, or that's where we were at in just a moment ago. And there's your VWAP. So getting long in here is a real risk. Until we hit the VWAP, or at least get a little closer. But looking at that profile, that volume profile, as we break below this heat zone, which is a pretty strong probability, drop a little lower than the VWAP, then come down, play around down there, then go long. Yeah, that might work. And we're going lower now. Now we're going to go ahead and look at our other screen. And we got the VWAP on the other screen, but just keep in mind this profile. See, that profile doesn't look like we've got any kind of support until we break down just below the VWAP at around 24.25. Okay, let's switch screens. So right below the VWAP. And there it is up here. Big spike down on the premium. Sticky is nice and low. So we're still going lower. Oh, and as you can also see, the open, we just came down to the open. And we got a divergence on the 1250. The TSC here was divergent as well. So that little signal is making money. So we have, you notice the divergence on the 100 and the TSC. You've got divergence here with a hook on the TSC down here, as well as here. You can take those kinds of trades, but they may not last. I don't think we're quite where we need to be yet. But yeah, nice scalp here. It's working. Look at the bands. And you see the divergence in here. But as we come up, it's as far as we make it, heading back down again, and we may come back up. But we ideally we want to see that TSC, the fastest of the ASHIs down here. Okay. So we need to spend a little more time down in the area of 26 for the ASHI to get low. Market bounces off of that, starts heading back up. Okay, now that looks good, but it doesn't always work that way. So that could have been it. The signal would have been great. It was above the VWAP though. So we'll come back. All right, so now it's beginning to look like we may be turning. Well, there's obviously more evidence that this may have been the low. So I wouldn't be going short anymore. Just looking for other opportunities to get into this long. If we manage to come back here, fine. If we do drop below, again, that'll be great for a long trade. But now I would say, yeah, short is no longer a strong option. Getting into a long is good, and I wouldn't even be waiting for a signal here. So that these signals, now we've got some reverse divergence signals showing up in here. All right, so yeah, now probably need to take these, put in a good stop. It still could come back, and oftentimes it does. It fakes you out here, comes back down, goes lower. So just be prepared for that. Could very well happen. All right, I'm gonna have to pause here. I'll come back a little bit later. And then we need to move on to other things. Okay, we're coming right back into the VWAP. Now is the time to start getting ready because we're just dropping into that little high volume node that we talked about earlier. That's down at 24.25. So that 23.25. We've got a signal here. Okay. This is looking pretty good. Pretty good. Yeah, right in here. Take a long trade, see what happens. And see where we are on the, oh, that was looking good. This doesn't look so good. But it's divergence. It's normal, regular divergence. This is not the screen for that. That would be over here. This is a 100-tick chart. That's a little fast, but you've got the signal on the. So we're staying just above the low of the morning at 22.50. You know, now that I think about this, ooh, that actually doesn't sound very good. Be that as it may, we have a signal, and I'm just thinking about overall pattern. And what I'm just now thinking is that the original low was just right out of the gate. Now we're coming back to test the low. And based on the time at 10 o'clock, this is not good. That's not likely. No, I don't like it. I'm out. We're going lower. So anyway, that's as much as I can say for the moment. got to take care of other things. I think this low is going to be broken. And we're going to be going a little bit lower. The real low of the overnight market. And I don't have a screen right up that I can consult that tells me that, but yeah, I'm of the present opinion that we will be going lower. So let's take a real quick look at one other thing that we gotta be done here. Alrighty. All right. Our initial balance calculation points us to a low at just below 14. Second standard deviation at 5204 to 5205. And give that pattern, I'm going to say we're heading down. We're heading down to that second standard deviation mark at 5205. That's what I believe is going to happen here. So, in spite of everything else we see happening, I think that's where we're going. We'll wait and see and come back and reevaluate this a bit later. Okay, we're back. And what we've been talking about is the standard deviation mark. As you can see, we've just hit a new low, but we failed as of yet to hit that first standard deviation mark. But there is every reason to believe that we will. So you don't want to be long. You definitely want to be short here. Now, we've been talking over the last couple of days about the probability of hitting the first and second standard deviation marks from the initial balance. And last week we failed every day to hit the second standard deviation, meaning that the following week it is a certainty that we will hit it. But on what day? That's another story. But given where we are at, I think there's a very strong probability that we're going to do so. And if you just look at where the market has been at most of the time, okay, it's lower than that. And we can find that out by looking at a market profile. So let me pull up a market profile and let's take a look at where the point of control is over the past 3 days. No, but let's make it even 4 days, because look at this. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we could even go 5 days. Yeah. Let's go back 5 days. See where the point of control is. We'll come back in a second here. Keep in mind, you want to be short here. All right, so on Ninja, we bring up one of our order flow volume profiles. And we come over here and change the number of days back to 5. Let it calculate. Okay, there we have it. And whoa, we're way below the POC. And this is the current day POC. So we know we're short. And that low volume area, okay, the heat zone is below, well, certainly below where we are now. So what we've got to do, let's shrink this up a little bit more. Yeah, over the past 5 days, there's very little volume down here. And as you can see that, over the past 24 hours is where we moved up to. So, coming back down at this stage, that looks very, very probable. So breaking the low, trying to fill up these areas of lower volume is what would be anticipated, keeping in mind where that second standard deviation mark is. That's what we want to short this to. And we're moving up into the POC, which is also right about at the open. We're going to try to get above the open. Failing that is a good place to short. The open is at 26.25. And you can see where we're at right now. So if we can't sustain a move up above 26.25, well, this thing's just going to drop. So in the last hour of trading, we're going to be seeing our low. Pattern of the day, 8:30, first hour. We're certainly going into 1:30 Mountain Standard Time. You would expect the low. So yeah, a nice robust drop right around now. That makes very good sense. We've got short signals after this last move up. Didn't quite make it up to the POC, and if we failed to do that, well, actually, depending on which chart you look at, we did make it up to the open. I'm sorry, the open. So anyway, short this, short. All right, so here's our signals. Let's take a look at where we are. Now, normally we would say, hey, this is not a good time to go short, given what's just happened. We are just now turning. But we've got very compelling information that says, all right, as we've been going sideways here, now you want to look for normal divergence and take those trades in anticipation of the pattern. In spite of what the ashes tell us. So as you see, this is moving up. Don't know whether we'll get any higher, but just follow this. If you're not already short, just follow it until it turns. Seems like it's already turning. Could go up a little higher. Let's look at the premium. Expand this out. Okay, there's a nice spike on the premium, so we should be going up to test that high where we got the signal. So this high at 26.25, yeah, That big spike up kind of implies we're going to test that high. Doesn't mean you shouldn't take the trade, but that big bar typically implies we'll test that high. There we go. Now we may go a third time. So yeah, you don't have really any other choice but to take the trade if you got a signal here. Ah, now that pattern says, yeah, if you took the signal, you're kind of safe. Still might try it, but yeah. I'd rather be in than not be in at all. So we'll come back as we see this thing ultimately drop. Now, if you're not already in a trade, the clock says right here at 16 or 117, there could be a good size spike. Perfect time to go short if you're not already. Now I've put the clock on the screen. Sometimes, well, seems to indicate that you should be able to see the clock. I'm using a new recording software. And it indicates to me that this is visible. But here's your two peaks. And we're right now at 116.20. So we could see a little spike up here. Again, good time to get short. Premium has got a little bit more strength in here. And it's losing it. It's losing it. Oh, there we go. There we go. Not a higher high, but again, good time to be short or get short if you're not already. Let me try that again. I'm not sure that that worked. Okay. So that's what we were trying to show you. I think now the clock is up on the screen. And here's the 116, 117 time frame. We're short. And now I'm going to move the clock away and I'm going to get back to our signals. Okay, some nice signals here at the top. Good divergence on the TSE, the RSX, everything was in agreement. I have to break through the VWAP. Well, come back every reason to believe that's going to happen. And as you notice, the fast ashy has now turned. So again, getting short if you were so inclined to wait. All right, we just broke below. Now, let's just watch it. I'm now more concerned about pattern, less about what the ashes are telling me. Although the ashes right now, yeah, they're coming into an agreement there, but there was more reason to get in before than waiting, because that may not happen. Oh, thank you very much. Going down to the low of the day. Low of the day so far was 1675. Right now, 24. That's a nice 8-point drop. And more. Target number one is 1375. That's target one. Now, that's 13 points below. So it would appear that we'll get that far. Trust the pattern, but watch carefully your indicators. Here I'm at 24, and I'm saying we're going to hit 13 and change at least. So what we should be seeing happening on the premium is that the premium is really going to start to spike down. Let me tell you how far it's going to spike down. Let's get some information here. All right. See where the premium's already dropped to several times now? 62.50. It's going to happen again. So down where it hit the low for the day, it's going to hit it again. And so dropping below 22 we may see at that point, let's look at this price. Yeah, below 22, we'll see the spikes in the premium should begin to happen. So we get a little bit more than a point to go here. Now, watch the premium. Let's just watch this. Premium is dipping, spoons are dipping. And we're at 1:31, almost 1:32. This is a good time in the next 5 minutes to see a more significant uh, pivot. And that pivot may be forming right now. So right now, over the next 2 minutes, and we're back to where we were before, price-wise. So if you fail to get in short, this could be a perfect time. Because if we're here around 26, which we're at right now, that means you got a 13-point drop over the next 30 minutes. Wouldn't that be nice? Okay, there it is. There's your pivot. Okay, let's get that below 22. See what's happening to the premium here. We should see more significant drops as we get below that. Here we go. Okay. Big reverse divergence on the premium. Watch it drop. Clock says that within the next minute, we might have a more serious drop. Okay, right about now. Okay, I'm not sure. I think maybe we messed up with our recording. Um, this 1375 was the first standard deviation mark. At 156, 155, there's frequently a big spike that does not necessarily change market direction, but it can. And so recommendation, lighten your position. Maybe the rest will go down to the second standard deviation mark today, which is at 5204.75. That's a 10-point drop yet, but I mean, it would really, really have to drop a lot to get down there, and it certainly can. But I think right now, lighten the position and see what happens with the rest of the day, of which there's not much left. Okay, got filled. Now we're just letting the rest ride. Alrighty, I don't, yeah, look at that, look at what's happening. Okay, I'm up. Yeah, all right, that was a pretty good call. Pretty good call. Could we could we go down there? Sure, sure we could, but ringy ding ding, we're done and called things right pretty much all day. So we'll post this. Come back tomorrow for another good day.